Good morning, dear friends. Myself, Dr. Vikrant Sudhakar Palekar. I am working as assistant professor in Gokhale Education Society's Arts, Commerce and Science College, Jawar, Palghar. Welcome in the lecture series of photochemistry. This is the fourth lecture we are doing on the photochemistry. In the earlier sessions, we have tried to understand the various concepts related with the photochemistry. What is singlet state? What is triplet state? Then what is the Jablonski diagram? As we know that Jablonski diagram is related with the various excitation and de-excitations of electrons which takes place, and due to which we come to know the different phenomena like intersystem crossing, phosphorescence, fluorescence, and so on. In the earlier session we have seen photoisomerization concepts and d-pi methane rearrangement. In this particular lecture series, we are going to see the photochemistry of carbonyl compounds. Basically, Norrish Type-I cleavage. There are two types of cleavage, but in this particular session, we are going to see only Norrish Type-I cleavage. As we know that carbonyl compounds contain large number of functionality, and aldehyde and ketones are the one of the important functionality, as these compounds contain three types of electrons in their bonding. One is sigma, which is present in single bonds. Another is pi bond, pi electrons, which are present in carbon double bond oxygen bond. And there is also one more electron, that is non-bonded electron, which are present on the oxygen as a part of the lone pair. So here we can we have three types of electron: sigma, pi and n. So due to which we can expect various excitation like sigma to sigma star, pi to pi star, or n to sigma star. So as we know that aldehyde and ketones can be absorbed in between 230 to 330 nanometer because of the carbonyl group, and there exists n to pi star transitions, which basically takes place in the singlet to singlet transitions. And as we know that due to the irradiation of photochemical light, the molecules excited and they undergo the photochemical reactions. And due to these photochemical reactions, there occurs the cleavage of the bonds. And based upon the cleavage, these reactions are classified into two types. First one is Norrish Type-I cleavage, while another is Norrish Type-II cleavage. So these are the two types of cleavages you will experience when these particular molecules undergo photochemical reactions. As we know that this is an aldehyde structure, and already I have told you the sigma electrons is present over here in the single bond, then pi electrons are present over here, and these are the non-bonded electrons which are present on the oxygen. Like in the same way in the ketones, where carbonyl is attached to two alkyl groups. The alkyl groups may be same or may be different. So here we can have the unsymmetrical ketones also and symmetrical ketones also. So these are the two functionality which undergo Norrish Type-I cleavage. So we will see what is Norrish Type-I cleavage first. The carbonyl compound containing alpha hydrogen atoms, just like acetone, they undergo alpha cleavage leading to homolytic fission of aldehydes and ketones, and as a result of that there exists formation of two free radical intermediate, and these free radical intermediate or radicals, they again combine and they form the neutral products. Basically in this particular cleavage you will experience that the alpha H, what are the bond between carbonyl carbon and next carbon, that undergo breakdown, and due to this two radicals are being formed. So once the radicals are being formed, we know that these are the high energy particles, intermediates. These intermediates again combine and they form the neutral molecule. Okay, so this is the thing. Let us see this particular example. So this is a structure of ketone. This ketone may be symmetrical or unsymmetrical. So at present it will initially present at ground state at energy level S0. So once it is being irradiated with the photochemical light in between 230 to 330 nanometer, what happens? It will go into the singlet excited state. So ground state, it will get promoted to singlet excited state, first excited state, what we can say. So this can be, we can observe that this is the first excited state. So once it gets to the first excited state, there occurs a breaking of this particular bond. And as a result of that, this particular single bond break in the homolytic fashion. So what will happen? Due to the homolytic fashion, one radical will form on the carbonyl carbon, while another radical will form on the alkyl radical. Here you can see. So this particular is the acyl radical and this one is the alkyl radical. So these are the two radicals which are formed initially due to the breaking of this bond. In the next step, what will happen? This acyl radical again undergo the cleavage of this particular bond. So as a result of that, again you will get, due to the homolytic fission, one alkyl radical and another is neutral molecule, that is CO. So this is how we will get fragmentation. So this particular process will end up with the formation of neutral molecule. So whatever the alkyl radical form in the first step will combine with the another radical form in the second step. That means we are having two alkyl radicals. These two alkyl radicals are having single electron present on them, so they are having the free radicals. So they will combine and they will form a bond in between the two alkyl groups, and this is how these compounds will get converted into alkanes. If you see, these are and these are, it is coming from the ketones, this ketone alkyl groups, and this particular CO is eliminated in the fashion like this. So this is how we get the formation of neutral molecules such as alkanes. Let us see the example. What is a well-known example of ketone is acetone. Acetone is having two methyl group in between the carbonyl groups. So ground state acetone irradiated with the photochemical light, so it will be irradiated to singlet excited state. Then there occurs a breaking of bond between carbonyl carbon and CH3. So as a result of that, you will get acyl radical and methyl radical. In the next step, again this particular acyl radical formed in the first step will again undergo a breakdown of this particular single bond, and as a result of that you will get one alkyl radical and another is CO. So we have two radicals which are there in the reaction vessel. One is this methyl in the first step, second step, and this one is methyl in the first step. So in the next case, what will happen? These two alkyl radicals will combine and they will form ethane. Again you can observe one CH3 is this one, another CH3 is from this one. Color has changed, but don't worry, it is a ethane. So we can say this CH3 coupled and they form the neutral molecule like ethane. So this is a very simple type of cleavage, but although it is a simple, but it is being selective. There occurs a very selective cleavage, okay, at higher temperature. So the excited state before cleavage of alpha sigma bond may be singlet or triplet. The excited state, this one is the excited state. It may be either singlet or triplet, it doesn't matter. Most probably it will be singlet. But whatever the radical form after this stage, so these are the radical forms after this excited state, which recombines in accordance with the opposite spin of respective radicals. So these two radicals must be having the opposite spins. One with parallel spin, another is anti-parallel spin. So they may combine. So after free radicals are formed, they will combine by random collision. So they will collide by random way with the one another with opposite spin of unpaired electrons. So this is the mechanism what you can expect in case of the ketones. Now we are going to see The second criteria, the free radical mechanism carried out at room temperature. Earlier what we have seen, it is at higher temperature, that is 100 degrees Celsius. So it is quite selective one, where we can expect the molecule ended with the single species. So at room temperature what will happen, same acetone will undergo excitation to singlet excited state, and you will get the formation of acyl radical and methyl radical. So this is the first step is same at room temperature. But later on what will happen, this acyl radical, as we are taking the molecules in excess, so this acyl radical and another acetone molecules, this particular bond break, CH, alpha H bond breaks, and you will get formation of CH2 C double bond O CH3, this particular bond. So this acetone molecule, second acetone molecule, after breakdown of CH bond will get resulted into this. So whatever the H plus loss from here will go to this particular acyl radical. As a result of that, you will get acetaldehyde. So you can see this H, red color H, is coming from another molecule of acetone. So this is how you will get the formation of acetaldehyde. Then there might be possibility that these two acyl radicals, they will combine and they will form diacetyl molecule. Okay, there might be possibility. So here you can expect more than one product can be formed, or there can be possibility that whatever the free radical present in this way, these two molecules can combine and they can form 2,5-dione. So this is a structure of 2,5-dione. So this structure is 2,5-dione. So at room temperature what we can observe is that we can get more than two products, or more, around 4 to 5 products are being formed. So such a reactions, what we can say, it is not a selective one. So at a room temperature we get a number of products. What products we can expect? One is acetaldehyde, another is diacetyl, the another can be 2,5-dione, or for next one can also be a ethane also. So these are the number of products you can observe. So when you carried out Norrish Type-I reaction at room temperature, we can expect a mixture of different molecules as a product composition. The proportion of each component depends upon individual reaction rate and product stability. So which product is going to form or which radical is going to form, it depends upon the stability. In the earlier classes we have also seen the stability of the free radical, primary free radical, secondary and tertiary. So it is in the same way, which one will be more stable will be formed as in the major proportion. So remember this thing, these reactions are not of much synthetic use, because what is the problem with this reaction is that we can expect more than one product, and in such reactions where you get more than one product, it is of not use of any meaningly in terms of all the parameters. So it is not of use. So another example, in case of the cyclic ketone, we can expect a Norrish Type-I reaction where this particular bond break in between carbonyl carbon and next carbon. So as a result of that, you will get radical over here, carbonyl, and you will get radical over here. Again this particular bond will break on the other sides of the carbonyl carbon. So as a result of that, you will get one radical over here, one radical over here. So this CO will be eliminated. So you can see CO is being eliminated, and these radicals again will combine and they will form cyclobutane. So in case of the cyclic compounds, what you can observe, you have started with the 5 carbon compound or 5 carbon ketones, you have ended with the 4 carbon alkanes, or basically we can say 4 carbon cycloalkanes. So cyclic compounds results with the cyclic compounds only, with 1 carbon less. So where one carbon has gone, so it has gone in terms of the neutral molecule, that is CO. So remember, cyclopentanone will give you cyclobutane. If you start with cyclohexanone, so what product you will expect? If you start with the cyclohexanone irradiated with the photon, so what will happen? You will get cyclopentane. Remember. So whatever the thing examples we have seen in terms of acetone or cyclopentane, these are all ketones. So in terms of aldehyde, what happens? Aldehydes are having only one alkyl group at one side. So what will happen? The bond between alkyl carbon and carbonyl carbon will break, and you will get the formation of free radical, that is R and H, and CO will be eliminated. So aldehydes also ended with the alkanes, formation of alkanes. If you start with the acetaldehyde, for example, CH3 C double bond O H. So what product you will get? CH3 plus H. You have to remember CH3 plus H. CH3 plus H. What is that? CH4. So you will get methane. So this is how the product you will get in terms of aldehyde and ketones. The products is Norrish type 1 reaction is carried out at two conditions. One is at high temperature, it is quite selective one, while at room temperature it is not being selective, we will get number of products. So go through this particular Norrish type 1 reaction. It is a very important, and although it is a very simple one. Thank you very much. See you in the next lecture with Norrish type 2 reaction.